Chani here for the sportscourier.com, joined by Brent Weedman. And Brent came out on the losing end tonight, but had a hell of a fight, definitely the fight of the night.
Good.
Thoughts on your performance and the fight, and what went wrong for you, what went right, and overall?
The two biggest things that I felt were, one, there's something been changing. My body's been changing over the last couple of months. I've lost a lot of weight. I was telling Bjorn, I haven't been any heavier than 175 for at least 2 months. 2 months ago is when I started checking my weight. I don't know I guess I got a tapeworm or something. I don't know. I'm not really tugging at that thread. But, a lot of lactic acid buildup trying to wrestle around with that huge guy. And, definitely felt the strength disparity there. And then, the other thing is, it's the same old mistake that Brent Weedman always makes, and that's I do all this technical training and I do all this game planning, and then the cage door shuts, and like I joked, we might as well be at the swing set. It just turns into a fight. I really like punching people in the face, and I'm the kind of guy that'll take one to give one, and you can't do that when a guy's got 20 pounds on you. So all the credit in the world to Chris. I guess technically that was supposed to be an upset, but I think people who said that just don't know the sport. Chris he's not nearly as experienced as I am, but he's every bit as tough and as good a fighter.
Dude, yeah.
There was no way that I thought that was an even matchup, definitely. And you know what? I'm proud to be in a position where I said I was going to bring a fight, and I brought a fight. So many fighters say, "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," and then they chicken out and they try and eke out a decision. Now, granted, we went the decision, but that's because we're both too stupid to quit. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about how Chris, beating you might have been an upset, which really isn't. He's a very talented fighter.
Yeah.
How happy are you fighting for Bellator? In front of some of the best fans in the world in mixed martial arts, and also being as part of a roster that has a lot of great young talent like yourself, like Chris, Mr. Leem over there we just interviewed. Thoughts on Bellator Fighting Championships and what makes it stand out from UFC, Strikeforce, and any other organization in the world?
Well, I'm really disappointed in a lot of the mentality that there has to be like an NFL, like there has to be the UFC and then the also-rans. When you watch boxing, you've got the WBC and the IBA and the blah 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 and the blah blah blah, but you've also got Friday night fights. You got guys that are just up and coming, or you've got guys that don't have as many fights. It doesn't make them any less credible of fighters. I think there's room for a couple different organizations. I think Bellator is the number 2 organization in the world in terms of size. Obviously the UFC is the biggest, but I think Bellator's got a really great niche cut out for themselves, and I think they're doing something smart. They've got a lot of fighters that, like myself, that are sort of middle, up and coming in terms of publicity, in terms of fame or whatever. And you ask the hardcore fans have been saying since season 1, like, look, that Bellator show that has fights, man. And it's because it's a bunch of hungry guys that aren't at the top yet, or whatever, however you want to put that. And we're all trying to prove ourselves. And so, some great fights. I think there were some good fights tonight from what I saw. I don't know. And everybody keeps telling me my fight was great, so I enjoy putting on a show for the fans. And, that's what I'm here to do. That's what the sport's about, or should be about.
And obviously you love MMA. It is your career. You do that for a living. But you're talking about how you had your wife's support. I don't know if you've seen the movie Warrior.
Not yet, no.
Yeah, well,
it just came out yesterday.
Yeah. It was a great movie. Just got to see it. And, one of the characters, going through a lot of tough times as a mixed martial artist, trying to get back in the swing of things. But he really, rises up to the occasion because of the support of his family. How much does it help to have your wife and your family support you in what you do, especially when it's something that's not your everyday 9 to 5?
Man, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be doing this, I have problems with people asking me about this. I was actually getting made fun of because when we were in New York City doing all the press stuff, I'm sitting in this room with this big HD camera on me, and they're asking me all these questions about my dad and my family and my training and this and that. And then they go, tell me what the support of your wife means to you. And I start crying like a bitch. It just came on. I can't really talk about it much.
Loving your wife, bro.
Love's not the word. I don't fear failure the way a lot of guys do, because I know if I was the worst fighter in the world, my wife wouldn't love me any less. So that sort of is my safety net, and that allows me to just go out and fight because I love fighting. love fighting. And so I don't have to worry about the quote-unquote failure aspect of it because my wife is proud of me. My wife is the only person that really understands the work that I put in and day out. And I know I've got her undying support. So fuck everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, pardon my French, but that's how it is for me. You know, it's her and that's all. You know, and of course I've got my parents, and my parents support me 1,000,000%. But you know, my wife is me. You know, it's my other half.
We have a very positive outlook on things. What's next for Brent, and where can fans find you online? You know, Twitter, Facebook?
Yeah, well, we'll start with that. My Twitter handle is Brent_Weedman. My Facebook page, Brent Weedman. I've got a fan page and a personal page. You guys can add me to both of them.
Got a fan page.
Yeah, well, my wife runs that. So, but you guys can add me on my personal page too. I mean, I just do that to connect with the fans, really. And then what's next? Well, I was just talking to Bjorn about that. It's time to consider maybe dropping a weight class. You know, that's the first time I've said that to somebody in the media because I don't know if it's going to work. I got to make a test cut. I got to see if it's going to come off. If it's not going to come off, man, I got to get on some protein or something. I got to put some weight on because look at these guys, man. They're not 170. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm only 5'11", 172, 173. You know, it's time to consider making the drop. And
besides the test cut, you thought about maybe taking like a fight that's like a non-tournament like fight?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to. I might fight one or two more fights at 170 in this season. You know, we got to go back and see where we stand and see who they have to fight. And it's up to Bjorn. I'm glad that Bjorn likes me, to be frank. You know, he's made it really clear tonight. He's a big fan of mine, and he's excited to have me in the organization. And you know, I'm excited to be wanted in the organization. And so we'll figure out who's next. But we're definitely going to try and get another fight in this season, and I hope the fans will come and watch me fight again. You know, now I'm on a 2-fight losing skid. That's the first time in my life I've lost 2 fights in a row, and so now, I mean, I got to knock somebody's block off, man. I got to figure this out. You know.
Well, best of luck then, man. Appreciate it. You know, great performance, and I know you'll do just fine.